From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight,
Bimbo Oloede.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Jonathan meets with his United States counterpart Barack Obama. Also rings closing bell at New York Stock Exchange. Outrage over killing of 9 people in Apo Legislative Quarters, Abuja. Senate and National Human Rights Commission to probe shooting by security operatives. Oyo State Governor sacks his entire Executive Council effective from today. And more explosions and gunfire at the scene of the Kenyan hostage crisis. Government deploys extra troops to rescue hostages.
And on business news tonight, the Naira strengthens at the interbank, hits its strongest level in 3 months.
On sports news, Italy's Mario Balotelli lands himself in trouble for intimidating a referee after AC Milan's 2-1 defeat by Napoli in the Serie A game.
We start off tonight with a meeting of President Goodluck Jonathan with his United States counterpart Barack Obama. The meeting, which held in New York ahead of the opening of the 68th session of the United Nations, centered on the need to tackle international terrorism. President Jonathan, who expressed appreciation for U.S. support, asked the international community to unite and deploy all resources to fight terrorism. President Barack Obama, while welcoming President Jonathan, described Nigeria as a critical partner of the United States in Africa.
We have experienced us recently, and we still experience in Nigeria, so I feel the pains of President Kenyatta to get that level of attack, that dastardly attack. And that is why we maintain that terror anywhere in the world is terror on all of us. And we call on the global leaders to come together and fight terror.
I've had the opportunity to speak with President Kenyatta directly about the terrible tragedy that's happened in Nairobi. And we are providing all the cooperation that we can as we deal with the situation that has captivated the world. I want to express personally my condolences to not only President Kenyatta, who lost some family members in the attack, but to the Kenyan people. We stand with them against this terrible outrage that's occurred. We will provide them with whatever law enforcement support that is necessary, and we are confident that Kenya, which has been a pillar of stability in Eastern Africa, will rebuild. Thank you.
After meeting with President Obama, President Jonathan also visited the New York Stock Exchange, where he had the honor of performing the closing bell ritual, which signaled the end of trading at 4 p.m. local time. The president attended the ceremony, accompanied by some of his ministers, including Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Minister for Trade and Investment Olusegun Aganga, Minister of Petroleum Resources Diezani Alison Madueke, and the Director General of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Ms. Aruma Ote. The President is also scheduled to meet with hedge fund managers to discuss possible U.S. and foreign investments in Nigeria's power, petroleum and agriculture sectors on the sidelines of the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Now to the killing of 9 people at Apo Legislative Quarters in Abuja. It's attracting many reactions. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, says it's stepping into it to unravel the circumstances leading to the gun battle in Abuja between security agents and suspected members of the Boko Haram sect. Residents around the area insist the uncompleted building where the attack took place was inhabited by homeless artisans and petty traders who could not afford the high rent in Abuja. The NHRC alleges that the military and the SSS are trying to cover up the extrajudicial killing in Abuja by planting arms in the building to justify the official claim that it was a Boko Haram ammunition dump. As part of the NHRC investigation into the controversial incident, the agency says its officials will be interviewing witnesses and residents of the area, as citizens, overwhelmed by the ordeals of the survivors, are now asking the security agencies to come clean about what truly happened at the scene of the attack. Meanwhile, human rights activists and politicians are demanding a thorough probe into the killing of 9 people alleged to be members of Boko Haram by security operatives in Abuja. Security operatives stormed an uncompleted building near Apo Legislative Quarters in the early hours of Friday last week, killing the 9 occupants. Our correspondent, Gloria Umezioke, reports.
There has been outrage over the killing of 9 occupants of an uncompleted building in Apo area of Abuja at the weekend. The State Security Service, through its spokesperson, had said security operatives who led 2 arrested members of the Boko Haram sect to the building in search of hidden weapons came under fire by other members of the sect in the area. She, however, remained silent about the death of some occupants of the building, but said a dozen suspects were arrested in the area.
I said some people were injured and 12 persons have been arrested and are making useful statements.
But human rights activists and politicians describe the operation as an extrajudicial killing and demand a thorough investigation by the authorities. A federal lawmaker who lives around the area and the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Justice and Human Rights, Senator Dahiru Umar, promised that the matter will be investigated by the National Assembly.
I don't believe what SS has said. That is an extrajudicial killing. I have interviewed, I have taken the trouble to know the details. We must have a thorough investigation on this. We will not allow it. It will not happen to Apo, the 7 Apo case. That happened in the past. It's just the same thing. What are we just killing innocent people in the name of national security? Can we just simply allow it like that? It will never happen.
Human rights activist Shehu Sani said the killings once again exposed the danger and the arbitrariness that Nigeria has been subjected to by security agencies in the name of fighting insurgency or terrorism. Sani urged the government to set up a panel of inquiry to provide justice to the family of the victims.
The cup is full. Nigerians are saying no to the false narrative and false explanations given to us by the state.
The call for investigation into the killings by activists and politicians is coming on the day one of the injured victims and a commercial tricycle rider passed away in the hospital. The chairman of the Tricycle Riders Association, known as Keke Napep, told Channels Television that the victim died at the Asokoro General Hospital.
If there is a Boko Haram members within particular area, they know how to do it. You understand? I don't think because of 2 or 3 Boko Haram members should go and kill, you understand, about 10 or 9 people. It's not done that way.
In the meantime, the National Human Rights Commission says a preliminary report on investigation into the killing will be presented to the board at its meeting in Calabar, Cross River State, on Thursday. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The ongoing transformation of the judiciary sector may be hampered if the federal government continues to underfund the sector. This is coming from the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mariam Aloma Mukhtar, who has also warned that all arms of government must abide by the spirit and principle of separation of powers. She was speaking at the swearing-in ceremony for 17 new senior advocates of Nigeria in Abuja, which also marked the commencement of the new legal year.
Over the years, funding of the courts has remained a challenge, as evidenced in the conditions of many courts in Nigeria today. Statistics have shown that funding from the federal government has witnessed a steady decline since 2010, from 95 billion in that year to 85 billion naira in 2011, then 75 billion naira in 2012, and dropped again in the 2013 budget to 67 billion naira. Indeed, with this amount, if the amount allocated to the extrajudicial organization within the judiciary is deducted, the courts are left with a paltry sum to operate. The simple implication is that our courts are increasingly finding it difficult to effectively perform their day-to-day constitutional roles. The resultant effect of a slim budget in the judiciary is that a number of courts in Nigeria today evince decay and neglect of infrastructural amenities, particularly at the state level.